All right, y'all. So let's talk about this. Jaron Ennis versus Zander Zayas. So both guys, salute to them. They came out. They did what they had to do. As you saw, Boots was the better man. Now, my assessment of the fight itself, I always tell you guys this. You never know what a fighter's going to do come fight night. But I look at consistency. As far as Zander Zayas goes, I knew of him, but I never really thought, made much conversation about him at all. I had seen him fight before. He wasn't even a fighter that I was really paying a lot of attention to. So once I knew the fight was happening, I do this often. If I don't know who a fighter is, I'll go back and, okay, let me start watching their more recent fights, or whatever fights I'm looking at, and then I look at what their performances are more recently versus in the past. So Zander Zayas is a guy, I did that too as well. Now, when I watched him fight, I could clearly see that Boots was just all around a much better fighter than Zander Zayas. Now, you can still be a better fighter and get knocked out. Things can go wrong. Not to be all technical about trying to, well, this guy's this and this guy's that, and he does this better than him, and I just felt like, honestly, Boots is just a better fighter. And with Boots, all it comes down to is just professionalism and patience. Boots has, one thing about Boots is when Boots lock in, Boots will make careless mistakes because he's so in the pocket of, I want to get you, that he'll just get hit with a jab. Now, no, he doesn't go in there and get beat the fuck up. He doesn't go in there like you got people trying to make it like Boots is just getting beat up all night. No. It's crazy how certain fighters is just supposed to be perfect all night long, every fight. And the crazy thing is, when you're a defensive genius like Floyd Mayweather, they make it sound like all them bruises on your face, your busted lip, your swollen eye, that all happened from him just making you miss punches. Like, he's not punching you. No, he just, he's the best defensive fighter. That's just a way of trying to take away from what he can do and what he does offensively. Pernell Whitaker, was praised and criticized for that. But he plays too much, all the jumping up and down, and he need to try to get guys out of there. A certain fight, Michael Nunn. Oh, he's not a crowd pleasing fighter. He's not there. Meanwhile, he's racking up wins, and he knocked out people that were supposed to knock him out. So when I looked at Boots, it's just tighten up, keep your defense tight, stay disciplined, stay focused. That's all. He does that, and Boots is fine. Boots regardless. Now I'm gonna show you though where I told you. The last video I made, it was the night before. I think it uploaded the day of because I uploaded at night. In the video I say, if he goes in there and beats Zander Zayas, does he finally get the props of, okay, he's top dog, he's that guy? Or is it going to be a continuation of popping shit? And I told you in the video, I felt like people was going to, no matter what he does, they're going to find something to complain about because Boots has already had 3 or 4 fights where people were saying this guy's going to beat Boots. This guy's going to do this snap to Boots. And then Boots goes in there and regardless, it's called boxing. You're going to get hit at some point. As what makes me laugh is even like the majority of these people that's talking shit are Crawford fans. We know this. And salute to the homie that said that in the comments because it's just the truth. People always, I just don't see Boots as that guy. Boots is this, Boots. It's just certain people just have this like certain, they don't like a fighter. Not because the other guy's not that good. I seen Crawford get rocked. Every fighter that got popped. And there's no fighter on the face of this earth that ain't been rocked. If you're fighting lesser competition, okay, even in that, somebody's going to catch you with a shot at some point. But I'm saying everybody has got hit with shots. I mean, I've seen Crawford. That's one thing Crawford used to do. Crawford at times would stand there when he didn't need to. He'd get popped, then get on his bicycle, then start shaking his head, sticking his tongue out, saying no when they're telling him to stand and fight. Oh, have y'all forgotten that? We've seen everybody get hit. Their way of saying Boots gets hit, he gets hit, is their way of trying to say the people that's hitting him is not as good as Crawford, so they can hit him. Imagine what Crawford would do. This is what people love to do. Well, I put it to you like this, right? Regardless to what they say, we prove it when you get in the ring. Now, as for the people that posted videos, I didn't see the videos. I didn't watch them. I have no interest in watching them. But I've seen like 4 or 5 videos where the thumbnails are saying that Terrence Crawford is saying he's not impressed by Boots and, oh, I'm 10 steps ahead of Boots and all that. Okay, whatever. Now, here's the deal. More than likely, a lot of times it's just content creators lying to get your attention. So this is why I don't tap into shit like that, because if I hear it come out the fighter's mouth, okay, then the fighter said it. I know the fighter said it. Then I can address what the fighter said, not what some content creator is using clickbait to get you to look into. Now, if Terrence Crawford has actually made those comments, let me say this to Terrence Crawford. It makes no sense for you to talk shit when you're retired. You just had an MMA guy call you out and you said, what do you want to fight me for, man? I'm old, man. I'm retired. That's what you said. Then when Boots' name came up, you talked about how you would smack the shit out of niggas and all this bullshit, right? Well, you spent more time telling everybody how y'all could have fight, or when dude had the chance to fight, he didn't want to fight and all that. So now, instead of just saying, yo, salute to Jaron Boots Ennis, he's a black man just like you, right? Instead of saying, hey man, look, I'm retired. It ain't got nothing to do with me and Boots, right? Boots is doing his thing. I did my thing. It's Boots time now, right? But, you know, and that's if he said it. But at the end of the day, you know, while you was busy taking pictures with that racist piece of shit, Trump, you know, and out here shaking hands and hugging up with him and pointing at him and leaving little comments like you're so overwhelmed and so happy that the racist president said you were one of his favorite niggas, basically, because he don't like your black ass. So if you said that, well, it makes no sense for you to say any of that shit. That makes you nothing but an old hater. Just like that motherfucker, what was his name on Django? The character that Samuel played. Hey, Bo, come here, Bo, hey, listen, Bo. Yeah, one of them niggas. Because at the end of the day, man, all that don't mean nothing. So if you're not going to fight a motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Why sit up here and pop shit and bring up somebody's name, or I just got to make a comment just because, you know. But again, I don't know if Crawford said it or not, but I'm saying my piece, that if he feels like that and he said that, then that's darker than him. Otherwise, you know, these content creators will make all types of dumb shit up just for you to watch the video. Anyways, Jaron Boots Ennis dominated that fight, man. Jaron showed you something. He was landing that jab at will. He was landing his shots at will. When he worked off the jab, Zander Zayas had no answers for it. He had no answers for it. Zander Zayas was trying to do what he knew how to do, but Boots made it easier for him to get to him. I think in that 3rd round, yeah, and Boots he rocked him. For sure, you can see Boots got hit. You can see his legs kind of was, on jelly a little bit. He's like, okay, hold up, right? You know, he definitely got rocked. Don't matter if Boots say he was hurt or not. I seen that shit. Boots got wobbled. It's a fight. You know what Boots did? He defied all the odds. Because you want to know what people say when you constantly win and you dominate? We don't know if he can take a punch, or we don't know how he's going to react if he's in a back and forth battle. We don't, right? Look. I think what Boots did, now from what I saw, I feel like what Boots did, he knew, okay, I can outbox this dude easy. He ain't got nothing. All right, you know what? I'm going for the kill. And he wasn't listening to his corner. So he goes in, okay, and he starts going for the kill. Couple of times he got lazy on the inside, not expecting something to come. His hand just with a straight, you know, with a jab. And he got rocked. I forgot what punch he got caught with. I think it was a hook that caught him, but he got rocked with a shot by Zander. And you know what he did? He fought through it. Now, Zander holds a whole lot. And I was noticing how Zander wasn't using that ring, and I said, yeah, them body shots got to him. He was hurt. He got, you know, whether it was upstairs or to the body, because he was getting hit both upstairs and downstairs. I said, he hurt him with something. I said, either this dude is just losing focus and he's trying to fight with that, you know, machismo shit, or either his legs ain't there. Zander told you at the end of the fight his legs wasn't there. He wanted to use the ring and box, but his legs he couldn't. So when he started to recover from it and move a little bit more, Boots just wouldn't let him into the fight. Fourth round, he was putting that shit on Zander, right? And basically, you could see there was different levels, different skill levels. Now, my whole thing with that is, I don't care. All of these so-called experts, they always want to give you their take, and all these guys, all your favorite guys, all your heroes, all of your expert analysis, right? They always, all of them said Zander was going to win. If Boots won, he was going to have to win by boxing and not getting hit by Zander. He got caught by the much bigger guy, right, than Zander. Zander's head is like that big. You can see even the width of his back. And you could see the size difference. You could see that, Zander was the naturally bigger guy. But Boots was basically breaking him down. Boots, and Boots, the thing is, he outboxed him and he outfought him. Getting caught, getting wobbled, okay, it's fighting, motherfucker. It's boxing. We can sit and say, well, he should have been doing this or that. Well, he did what he did and he survived it. It's the same way Shane Mosley had 2 good rounds against Floyd and wobbled him twice. And Floyd is talking to him. And he couldn't finish Floyd. And Floyd just punished him, just beat him up all night long. I don't think Floyd wanted to knock him out. I think Floyd was wanted to beat on him, and that's what he did. You understand what I mean? But people make it sound like that's the only thing that happened in the whole fight was Shane having 2 good rounds and shit. But Zander is, and man, let me say this. I gotta say this, man, because I told y'all the excuses was gonna start with the whole he's only 23, even though nobody's bringing it up beforehand. You heard the commentators mention that him only being 23 during the fight once he started getting picked apart. Here's what I find crazy, right? How do you come up with this guy is going to beat this guy? Why? His power, his strength, his speed, like he's an all-around good boxer. I think he's even better than Boots. And I think that Boots is going to have to fight a near-perfect fight where Zander got more up in his arsenal. How do you come up with that he's only 23, Boots has more experience? Why is it every time after the fighter gets beat, then y'all start to acknowledge the experience of the other guy? Okay, Jamel Harrington had more experience than Shakur, right? Sugar Ray Leonard had more experience than Terry Norris, right? And here's what I find funny. It's weird to me because I was watching Terry Norris versus what's his name? Donald Curry. And I'm noticing how the commentators kept saying the old man. Donald Curry was 29 years old. He was only 29. Norris was 23. That was the very next fight he had after he defeated Sugar Ray Leonard. He was 23. 23 when he fought Leonard. Leonard was 34. Now, Leonard was old. Donald Curry was old at 29. Leonard was old at 34. John the Beast Mugabe was old at 30. I'm like, yo, y'all, it's crazy. Because I watched Terry Norris deal with a lot of the same thing that Jaron Boots Ennis is dealing with right now. You know what makes it different, though? Because Terry Norris had 3 early losses in his career. So by the time he fought Donald Curry, he was 30-3. Okay? But Terry Norris was an excellent fighter. Terry Norris had this thing with him where he would just lose focus. At times, it just get careless. But when that motherfucker was on, man, you wasn't beating that motherfucker. He just had times where, like I said, I didn't see. It was a time where I forget the guy's name, but he and Oscar De La Hoya fought the same night. If he wins and Oscar wins, the next fight is Terry Norris versus Oscar. I forget the guy's name. Terry was tearing this guy's ass up. And this dude shot it. Terry just got careless. He got caught. And, he got dropped. He got back up. And the guy jumped on. I mean, like, it was just like, how do you just lose focus like that? But he was one of them guys that did it. But when he was on, he was on. And here's the problem with fighters like that. People will look for you to make those mistakes. Okay? They might look at you like, I'm outgunned. Overall, he has the advantage, speed, power, boxing IQ, everything. But he's going to make a mistake. That's what a lot of fighters look for. You're just going to have to endure. You're going to have to be willing to go through the fire. You're going to have to be willing to take pain, take 3 to give 1 in certain situations. You right? But he's going to make a mistake. Then he doesn't make that mistake. You understand what I'm saying? But then there's fights where he may make that mistake. So for Jaron, tighten up on that defense, man. Keep your defense tight, because he's not like, when they say Jaron gets hit like that's just some dumb, over-exaggerated shit. Yeah, he got hit with some shots because it's boxing. Now, I feel like he did get hit out of carelessness, out of being so locked in, and he got careless to it. Just, okay, he got trigger happy, but he withstood that shit. He never went down. Zayas went down, 3 times? So all of these people that was telling you how Zayas is that guy, Zayas got too much, then all of a sudden he's only 23. It's something with this number 23. Notice nobody ever gave Devin Haney that benefit of a doubt at only being 23. You've never heard him. He's only 23 years old, man, and look at where he is already. Nobody never said that about him. You never heard nobody make that excuse up for a 17-year-old Wilfredo Benitez that became world champion at 17. You never heard none of those excuses for Terry Norris. He's only 23 years old. So at 23, he defeated Ray Leonard. Look, I've seen that fight 1,000 times, and Ray was my dude, and Terry was my dude. So growing up watching them, it was just like, I thought Terry was going to win, and he did win. And everybody was saying the same thing, with the exception age had nothing to do with it as far as being young or old, all before the fight. But after he got beat, and Ray is coming off of a high. He just defeated Donnie Lalonde, who was much bigger. He called out Terry. I'll bring these things up, man, because I get so irritated listening to these people run their mouth and just be talking like they just, because they got their little cheap ass Easter suit on, stand their little microphone. Everybody would have sit here and give you their expert opinions and be wrong as shit. Everybody knew he was 23. Everybody knew he had less pro fights, right? Than Jaron. Regardless to any of that, the majority of the people, you look on, I looked on different polls just to see, people got their channels, who wins, Jaron by knockout or decision, or Zayas by knockout or decision. Every poll I see, Zander Zayas was the heavy favorite to win in every single scenario. And it was Zander by decision was the more popular decision. The second was him by KO. And then the third was Jaron by decision. And that was the lowest of percentages on every single poll I saw. So look, this is what I said. Y'all saw the video, and then they go already resort to the excuses about he's only 23 years old. It's funny how you're going to win all ahead of time. Most of that is, I hope Zander wins. But for you to really believe he's going to win, and especially for you to sit down on your little podcast or whatever show you have and you're breaking down why Zander wins and how he wins. Then he loses and he's only 23. Oh, wow. Now, I would say this about Zander Zayas, right? He didn't go out like a chump at the end of the fight, lose and make excuses. He said he don't want to make no excuses, and Jaron was the better man. He was asked would he come back. Now, you know what's funny? Because remember when Errol Spence said he definitely wanted the rematch with Crawford, but at 154. And remember how everybody, oh man, y'all making excuses. We're making excuses because we're telling you what the hell Errol Spence said. Isn't it funny though how it was an excuse for Spence by saying he wanted to come back but at 154, but all of a sudden, the interviewer asked Zander Zayas, what about when your next fight, do you think about maybe come back at 160? Now, was he making any excuse for Zander? Was he trying to say, I think you would do better at 60? Maybe you're draining yourself at 150. Was he making an excuse? See how nobody says these things with certain fighters, right? let me explain something to y'all. And let me finish. Zander took his loss like a man so far. So far. Hopefully it stays that way. He said he'd go back, take some time off, chill with his family, see what they think the best thing to do. We come back, whether it's 54, 60, or whatever, right? Okay. For Zander, don't do like Canelo. Don't do that punk ass Canelo shit. All of a sudden, everything is cool. The better man won. No excuses. Blah blah blah. Then all of a sudden, some time go by, and now you making excuses about the weight or something. Just take the route that you took and stay on it. If it's a rematch, there's a rematch. If it's not, it's not. If you stay at 54, you stay at 54. If you go to 160, you go to 160. But what happened. You can't change that. You can only have another fight to try to, redeem that. But it was a fight. Did I see him as being better than Boots? No. So I didn't really know what the fuck people were talking about when they was talking as if he's just as good as Boots or better than Boots. I felt like he was a good fighter. But again, the possibility of him catching Boots or something or not, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the fight. But no, I didn't see him as being as good as Boots. So when I'm watching, this is why you guys heard me say, like, I don't know if these dudes are saying this because they really think he's going to win, or if it's more of a strategy of let's hype this guy up. So when Boots win, everybody realized Boots just beat a real top guy, because it reminded me, Zayas, you guys know I said this. It reminded me of the Crawford fight with the guy that he fought at 154 that only had 11 fights. And they're talking about how this guy is better than Canelo, and he's the best fighter at 154, and only if Crawford beats him, Crawford's the only one that can beat him, and all the stuff that they said. And I told you, when I watched the guy fight, I'm like, I don't see where this guy's as good as Crawford. If it's about a puncher's chance, okay, maybe that. But other than that, I don't see where this guy's as good as Crawford. And Crawford went there and spanked him. Didn't knock him down, didn't knock him out, but he won the fight. He dominated the fight. Wasn't like a spectacular performance. Now, if Jaron would have won that same fight the same way, people would have been like, oh man, he didn't knock the dude down. Couldn't knock. They'd have been finding every flaw in this guy as to how and why Jaron should have been able to knock him out. But when it was Crawford in that seat, nah, they lied and hyped him up. Then Ortiz beats the guy. And nobody talks about him. And like I told you, Zander Zayas is in that same type of predicament in terms of nobody was talking about it. Listen, y'all know I've been doing this for a minute. We have never had a fucking conversation about no goddamn Zander Zayas. His name was not being thrown all over the place. But now, all of a sudden now, because remind you, where was Zander Zayas when Crawford was fighting this guy and y'all was saying he was the best fighter at that division, right? With only 11 fights. Where was Zander Zayas then? Nobody was talking about no fucking Zander Zayas. And this is exactly the point what I'm saying. So I felt like, okay, maybe they're using this guy to hype him up to try to help Jaron get to that next level. But at the same time, for you to talk all of this stuff about how great he is and he's this and that and how he's going to beat Jaron, they don't think Jaron got... It's like, I feel like people want Jaron to lose. He goes in there and he wipes the floor with this dude, man. And it's like I said, Jaron is one of them guys, unless he's absolutely perfect, they're going to always... I don't care what he did. If he didn't get hit at all, then they start saying the guy was overrated after you're the ones who overrated him. So... And let me tell y'all something about all that fucking 19 bullshit. I mean, that 23 bullshit, okay? Oh, you know, 23. Most fighters, I don't know Zayas' story, but let me tell y'all something about that 23 bullshit. And y'all said this about several people. All these fighters tell you, I've been boxing since I was 5. And I don't know if the rule is still the same, probably is. Because the same thing with me, as far as I've always known, they start letting you box in the gym at 5, like training and everything, and doing, your sparring and stuff, but they won't let you actually fight until you're 8. Do you realize, if that's your story, you've been boxing by the time you're 23 for 19 fucking years? So when y'all talk about a fighter being only 23 years old, that motherfucker been fighting pro for 19 years. You could be fighting a guy that has more fights than you and is older than you, but haven't been fighting as long as you. And either or, that's more wear and tear. 19 years of this shit, that's wear and tear on your body. That's the reason why fighters usually, a whole lot of guys, they're saying that they fizzled out by the time they were 33, 34 and all that. And it's like, wait a minute. How do you put the limitations on when a fighter starts to fizzle out? Because a lot of people, for a perfect example, like sometimes you see fighters, they're in their 20s and they burn out because the constant wear and tear, then all the amateur fights that they had and everything. So you got to look at 19 years plus however many amateur fights you had. And you take a guy like Zayas, what I'm saying, you guys keep talking all of this shit about what the lack of experience, but yet the guy was unified champion. The guy that Crawford fought wasn't 23 years old, but he only had 11 pro fights. What did y'all say? Yeah, but he had a lot of amateur experience. Okay, hold up. Since when have y'all been so big and keen on amateur experience? Just like in the amateurs, you're trying to tap the target, not punch through it like in the pros. It's a point system thing. So you're not really going for the knockout. If it comes, right? But it's a point system thing. We know it's a difference. This is exactly why Henry Tillman could beat Mike Tyson in the amateurs, but not in the pros. And we've seen that happen. Jorge Gonzalez, he beat Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe in the amateurs, but couldn't beat him in the pros. Couldn't even touch them in the pros. Couldn't even make it competitive in the pros. And we've seen this happen throughout history with certain fighters, man. We know that these things happen. So when y'all sitting there talking about a guy's only 23 years, man, how many 23-year-olds you see beating down dudes 30, 20. Mike Tyson was doing it. Muhammad Ali was doing it. Shakur Stevenson has been doing it. Terry Norris was doing it. Wilfredo Benitez was doing it. Pepino Cuevas was doing it. Salvador Sanchez was doing it. Like, I mean, y'all make excuses up for these guys, man. It's like, let's pick and choose who gets the sympathy, and then everybody else will make excuses for them. So, all that bullshit, he's only 23 years old. The only thing I can see you saying about him only being 23 years old is that he has a lot more fights left in him to, go out and still do great things. But to make that excuse about he's only 23 years old and, Jaron had the experience. Where was all of that before the fight? And that's always my question. I question your questions because of how empty your comments are. You question this man's heart, his integrity, his enthusiasm. You question everything about Jaron Boots in the ring, but then he goes in there and he defies all odds and, we got to make excuses. You can talk about he got hit, but he didn't go down. And yeah, he got wobbled. Hell yeah, he got. We all saw that. But he didn't go down. He overcame the odds and he wound up stopping your boy. In fact, let me tell y'all what y'all might not have saw. When Zander went down, or maybe you're just perfectly overlooking it. When Zander took that when he was on his knee, he told the ref, "I'm done." Yeah, he did a Chad Dawkins. He shook his head and said he's done, and his team threw the towel in. He threw the towel. They threw it, but he said he's done. Pay attention next time you watch the fight. He didn't want to continue. He looked at his corner. He didn't want to continue. He did not want to continue because he saw exactly what his team saw. He was getting his ass whooped. He didn't want to fight anymore. Okay? Jaron broke his will. He showed, I can outbox you. Zander's thinking, okay, my legs are gone. Now I have to. Now, he didn't come into the fight injured. He didn't come into the fight, something was wrong with him. No, it happened in the fight. Now I got to fight one I want to. And I think that was part of what Jaron wanted to do. I'm going to attack him. I'm going to break him down early. And I'm going to beat him up top and bottom. He ain't going to know what to throw at me, right? But he's going to have to fight. I'm going to make him fight more. But he boxed and he's coming in with that aggression, with that pressure, but he's doing it smart. He broke him down. He took his legs away from him. I think that was by design as well. He took his legs away from him and he made him fight more than he wanted to, knowing that I can start to go back to boxing if I want to, but he can't because I'm punishing his body and his legs is gone. He dropped him 3 times, man. Come on, bro. He broke him down and Zander had to fight more than he wanted to fight. He tried. He tried. But he did what he could. And again, Jaron is locked in. He's in kill mode. You know? You can hear that. Had the shark music playing. I'm coming in. But Zander still has some fight in him. You see what I'm saying? And he got careless and he got caught with some shots. It's fucking boxing, bro. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, that's something that, you know, don't just say, yeah, I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to take care of that. And then, no. Because we've seen a couple of times where Boots get inside and get a little careless. We've seen Crawford do it. We've seen James. We've seen some of the best defensive fighters do it. We've seen Pernell. We've seen all the motherfuckers at some point get a little careless and get inside. And you know, you when you're not ready to punch, you shouldn't be on the inside. And one of the things about fighters, you know, I say this all the time. I see this in a lot of fighters. And Terry used to do this shit. Now, the reason Terry did it, Donald Curry used to do it, certain fighters. Back in the day, when you see fighters lean over their knee, they're expecting the uppercut to come. Okay, they're expecting the uppercut. And what they're going to do is they're going to turn. And when they turn, they're going to counter. Whether it's with the hook, right or left hook, they're going to counter. But they're expecting the uppercut. They're baiting you to throw that uppercut. Okay. Because when you throw the uppercut, now you're vulnerable for the hook. You understand what I mean? So they did it on purpose. But one thing that I see to it, guys, is they have all been caught with an uppercut. Because now what happens is a lot of times you're doing this and it becomes a habit. This is why when fighters lean, I'm always like, man, why don't y'all get your stance and stop leaning forward? You trying to get, and they're looking for the uppercut, but they're also closer. They're just closing the distance to get the shots off. But you're gambling when you do that. Now you have to be aware that you're gambling when you do that. This is why when I see fighters lean like that, we've seen all of them do it. They do it, they're trying to bait something. But again, that can become a habit. Just muscle memory, and your shit happens, and all of a sudden you're doing this. This is why I like when a fighter catch with that pull counter. You know why they catch with that pull counter? Because you throw, they simply pull, and they come over top of your shit because you're overcommitting. So when you learn to stop overcommitting, like when I tell fighters, stop throwing the jab and then reaching over, leaning, just turn it to the waist. Pow! That's all. Shoot your jab and turn it to the waist. Don't lean. Because now every punch you throw, you're trying to throw knockout shots. And when you overcommit, you get caught. Simple. But, you know, you see fighters get hit, and it's not always because of just a mistake. Sometimes it's just the fighter's just fast enough to get the shots there. So let's stop acting like every time a fighter get hit is only because of a mistake. Or, it's, you know, they did something wrong. It's a fight, bro. So it's easier to call that shit holding a microphone in your hand than it is when you actually are in there. You should know certain things you just don't need to do. But it's a fight. And when a fighter is crafty, Zander's no pushover. Zander's not a weak fighter. He's just not as good as Boots. And the problem, like I said, the thing is everybody's trying to take credit from Boots. So it's not about, for me, I tell Boots, man, don't worry about the fans or trying to get the people on your side verbally, trying to tell them how good you are. They see it. They're rejecting it because they don't want, and like I said, again, this is mostly Terrence Crawford fans. And then it's like, once someone says something, it's like people put this label on you. Like if you say Run DMC or the Kings of Rock, like they ain't have a bunch of bangers that wasn't with rock music. They had a whole bunch of shit they didn't have nothing to do with rock that was dope ass songs. But let them tell it. Yo, Big Daddy Kane was smooth. Like he didn't have that lyrical assassin shit when it came to everything else. He was all around. Naughty by Nature had the party anthems. Like they only did party records. Like they were only good at party records, you know? No, they put these labels on you. And then people, they just, oh yeah, he was smooth. Oh, he was a pimp. Oh, they the Kings of Rock. That's all they had. Had way more than that. And they do the same thing with fighters. They that's how they do. They do the same thing. How many times have we heard people say Ice Cube play the same character every time he act? But y'all keep going to buy his movies, right? So shut up. Shut up. Every time he make a movie, y'all go watch it. So if he keep playing the same character and y'all so annoyed with it, why y'all keep watching his movies? Same thing with fighters, man. No matter what a fighter shows you in the ring, he passed this obstacle, let's throw another obstacle at him. He passed this one, let's throw that's what it is. So for Jaron, I tell him, man, don't worry about what these people are saying. You show and prove. People are gonna come out and watch even if they want to see you lose. And that's the type of time that we live in, any type of time we live on anyway, for the most part. People on that type of time, because guess what happens? I want to see you lose. And they got this hate inside of them. I want to say I was there the night that guy lost. I've heard so many people say that. So many people say that. So that's what it comes down to. What did Muhammad Ali tell y'all back in the day? He said 100% of the people coming to see me, 99% coming to see me get beat. And that's what it turns into. So you can't make the people like you. Go out there, earn your money, whoop some ass, live your life, enjoy your life, because when this boxing shit is over, all right, you don't have boxing anymore. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you came, you got well compensated for it, and you'll accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. One thing you can't do is make people like you. And as far as that goes, forget the people. Now, as far as you becoming a household name, you don't become a household name just because people like you, because people hated Floyd, but Floyd was the biggest draw, period. Because people wanted to see him lose. Yeah, he had people that liked him, but he had a whole lot of people that didn't like him. So they're coming to see him lose. I heard, and Floyd was another one. I heard so many people say, I want to be able to say I was there when he got beat. So it's not like you become a household where everybody have to like you. No, they just have to want to see you fight. And that's where Jaron is. That's all. They just have to want to see you fight. They had a sellout crowd there. You know, it was a solid event. You know, had some good fights on that card. And look, man, that's all it comes down to. Forget these people. This is why I agree 1,000% when Floyd talked about you can't fight for the fans. You can't. You can. Your job is this. My mindset would be, look, I'm here to make my money, beat that ass, and entertain these fans through the fight itself. I don't need to talk a bunch of crazy shit and act like a fucking idiot. I'm going in and I'm gonna let these do the talking, right? Simple. So I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna put on my best. But as far as liking me or disliking me, I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, like for me, I'm not one that's into all of this, like just bickering back and forth. Like, I mean, I know all that's to try to build the fight and all, but it's like, you know, look, you're not going to be talking that shit come fight night. Come fight night, you're going to be real sorry for all that shit you said. Simple. We coming to fight. All that arguing shit, I don't care about all that. But there's going to be people that want to see you lose regardless. It doesn't make a difference. You could be out here donating money to helping the charities. You could be out here helping homeless people, helping little kids, helping families eat. You could be, you know, a caring, loving person, getting homeless people off the street. That nobody give a fuck about who you are. They don't care about that. People are just ignorant. They just pick a side, and I hate this nigga. I can't stand that motherfucker. That's just who people are. So my mindset wouldn't be on who like me and don't like me. Fuck all of y'all. That's really, you understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, without y'all, right, there's no career for us to go fight. But when you start being disrespectful, you just start making up shit just ain't even about the ability. Like, if you think a fighter's better than me, then I go beat that fighter's ass, right? And you like, oh man, this bitch ass nigga did that. Shit they would never say to your face. But on top of that, understand what I'm saying? This is not even coming from a point of common sense and just being a rational human being. This is just coming out of hatred. So yeah, you know, it's like, fuck these people, man. I perform, you pay. That's how it works. I'm not here to make you like me. I'm not trying to be Manny Pacquiao smiling at everybody and jumping around and trying to be this perfect preacher man, knowing I'm cheating on my wife and all that kind of shit. I'm not with all that shit. I'm there to do a job. Simple. I'm like a hitman. Pay me, I'm gonna take this motherfucker out. That's it. Simple. But that's how that shit should be, man. So yeah, the excuses already started with Jaron, the Jaron haters. Oh, Zander's only 23. I tell you, it's something about that number 23, man. Maybe because Michael Jordan was so great at basketball, so I don't know. So it's something about the number 23. When somebody's 23 years old, think about it. It's always a motherfucker. Mike Tyson was champion at 21. Ali did it at 22. Floyd did it at, I think, 22, 21 or 22, whatever. We Fredo was 17, but somehow this pussy ass generation, all y'all, oh, he's only 23. He's only 23. Hey, man, cut that bullshit out, man. Again, none of this was being said before the fight. Everything before the fight was talking about how Zayas is this and that. even when Jaron says to him, I appreciate you because you could have took any other fight. But my thing is Warriors, man, why the fuck do people even feel like that? Why? It's one thing to stay busy. You're trying to get certain fights and the fights are not happening and you want to fight to stay, okay? I get that. That's cool. But when a fighter is available for you and you know that, yeah, he's a worthy opponent, right? But you won't take the fight. That's something different. And when you start talking down, like again, one thing, if you only have this much common sense, right? Literally that much. All right? Anytime a top fighter is saying, if you want me to fight that fighter, pay me 20 million, pay me 50 million, 200 million. It's because they know that fighter is a threat. Regardless to who wins the fight, they know that fighter is way tougher than the ignorant fans who are sitting up here arguing that this guy would get knocked out. Crawford would destroy this guy. He's nowhere near. So, in other words, Crawford, you're justifying Crawford not fighting Boots. Because Crawford would just destroy Boots, right? So there's no need for that fight to happen. Is that what you're saying? But then Crawford fights guys that Boots would fucking beat. He fights guys that Boots have also beat. Even if Crawford fought them first, don't make a difference. And there was no, I showed the blueprint, because they fight completely different from each other. But at the end of the day, if you're not saying that, then you make no sense. You just sound like a fucking hater that want to stroke your own ego and try to make everybody think you know everything about everybody else's fucking life and who should be doing what and what. Why the fuck would you not want to see Crawford versus Boots? I mean, he's retired now, right? So what I'm saying, even when he was here and he said this, he always said the same thing. I was there before. I was that young, hungry lion. I get it. I understand. Right. And also you had people who said the same thing, that you wasn't on a level, you wasn't ready, then y'all fought and you beat him, right? So this is what I'm saying. When I said before, it's not about Boots trying to prove to people he could beat Crawford or any of that. Boots don't bring Crawford up. It's always some fucking reporter, some interviewer that want to bring up Crawford versus him and whatever. And what do you think Boots is going to do? Stand up here and allow Crawford to punk him or just say things that may not be true or whatever? Bottom line is, especially if it's not true, but he just gonna stand up there and act like, oh, this Crawford, I gotta let Crawford say what he want. No, bottom line, it is what it is. But like I said, I wouldn't even be worried. I would shut Crawford questions down. Like, listen, man, Crawford is retired, man. That ship sailed. We could have did it, and it didn't happen. So I'm about who's here that I can fight now. So his career, no one fighter's career shouldn't be defined due to one particular fight. But y'all was acting like y'all didn't want to see the fight. Boots need to sit his ass down. Oh, so Stanionis shouldn't have sat his ass down because he was ready for Crawford, right? They both beat Stanionis, right? Yeah. But just to try to make the point of what Crawford would do, that's your fucking opinion. And here's my thing. Even if I agree with your opinion, so fucking what? They still should fight. What the hell are you talking about? This is boxing. This is why I love watching One Fighting Championships. You know what I love about One Fighting Championships, man? There is no larger than life, I'm trying to make you this and that. We're greedy. We're just going to put you in there and try to hype you up to be some deity to this earth. It's all about the fighters wanting to fight. Truly wanting to be the best fighters. That's what I love about One Fighting Championships, man. It's more pure. Less politics. You don't see the promoters jumping in front of the fucking cameras. You don't see them making it about them. You don't hear nobody here talking about how many billions of dollars they making or how. No, they just fight and they go in there and it's like, I truly want to be the best fighter. I want to be the best fighter. And they go in there and they fight. It ain't no, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Yo, sit in the contract, but then no fight. All that bickering, that's not what happens. And in fact, let me put it like this. I don't know what happens behind closed doors, but what they present to the public is done very professionally. And it's just about the fights. It's about the fighters. It's about the fans being entertained because they love to watch fighting. Not no soap opera shit. Boxers walking around like wrestlers do. How the wrestlers be walking around, they belts on the shoulder all the time, be all arrogant and smart. Now, you see boxers doing the same thing. Just walking around holding their belts and shit and talking a bunch of trash. And it's like, man, everybody's a bitch. Everybody's a scary bitch, nigga. Everybody, but none of y'all want to fight each other. All right, whatever, man. You don't get that with one fighting championship. Fuck the UFC and racist ass people. I gotta say that because fuck the UFC. That piece of shit that insulted Michelle Obama. Basically, no statement from Dana White. Nobody from Zuffa. Not Donald Trump. Nobody to say we don't condone that. This dude is going to be forced to make a public apology if he want to continue to anything. They have pressed charges. They sued. They're suing this guy for defamation and a whole other shit he got going on. Now he's begging because his purse was taken. He made no money. Right? Yeah. Good for his monkey ass. And none of them have stood up to say anything, to show the class to even say, nah, listen, we don't condone that type of shit. And to show you how stupid black folks are. Terrence Crawford said this black crusty ass there at the event, sitting there with Jao Pataya and whoever the fuck else he was there with. Anybody supporting Trump, I don't fuck with. So at the end of the day, he said what he said. None of these people show no class whatsoever. Racist motherfuckers. And here you are, your people being deported, you dumb motherfucker. Michelle Obama is a man. Right, am I right, America? Yeah, that's what he does. One fighting championships wouldn't condone no shit like that. I don't know the people I've never seen anything like that happen to PFL. I've never seen anything happen like that in no other organization. And the fact that the UFC is even in cahoots with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So fuck the UFC. Fuck them. Fuck all of them. You know what I'm saying? The fighters that's there, I'm pretty sure there's somebody there that don't like that comment, or maybe, well, I can't even say I'm pretty sure. Put it like that. Let's just say if there are, and they're there making a paycheck, just working, whatever. It's not so much at them, but the fact of the matter is, even if they are there, and they just decide to stay out of it, because I notice nobody wants to stand up for anything that means anything. But even for like the black fighters, yeah, the racist white ones, the ones that we already know ain't shit. You know, you don't expect them to say nothing because they agree with it. But even for the black fighters to not say anything, you're fighting for an organization who basically sat there and promoted this bullshit. And the crazy thing is, just like any pussy, oh, my comment, it was a compliment. I wasn't saying it to be disrespectful. Yeah, fuck out of here, you goofball. Pot-bellied ass motherfucker. You let your... Anyway, fuck them. But that's why I like one fighting championships, man, because I'm watching fights. Like I said, I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but until I have a reason to not watch these motherfuckers, you understand what I'm saying? That's what I like watching. I don't like all this soap opera shit, all of this back and forth, just talking shit, sitting there with your belt on your shoulder, making your little videos, just blah, 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 blah. Where are the fights at? You get one big victory all of a sudden now, yeah, I'm on cloud nine. I ain't got to do nothing. I prove myself. And this is the era of, at this point, I can do whatever I want. Yeah? Yeah, I don't care what nobody got to say. I don't care what they think. Fuck them. Right, fuck you right back. I do what I want. And I Mexican. Really? Yeah. And ain't it funny how shortly after that, Canelo got booed after that Benavidez fight? Because they like, nah, man, they want to see you fight fucking Benavidez. Stop with this bullshit excuse about you don't want to fight Mexicans and all. I mean, what the fuck happened to boxing? Tell you what happened to it. It's this generation of people, y'all, a bunch of soft bitches, man. Yeah, and they know that they can play on your mindsets. All they gotta do is wave their flag and Arriba Mexico! Yeah, he just insulted all of y'all. Instead of giving the boxing fans, okay, and giving your Mexican fans, the two top Mexican guys that people want to see fight, nah, you bow out like a bitch and you focus on talking about how Terrence Crawford disappointed you and he retired because he was scared of the rematch. And this is where I'm saying Zander Zayas, don't need to take that fucking route, because if he do, then he's a bitch just like Canelo and anybody else who pulls that pussy ass shit. Ain't no, oh, once you done. You know what's so crazy? I show y'all something, and this is how dumb you motherfucking black folks are. Notice, even black fighters say the same thing to Canelo. Oh, Canelo done so much, like, you know, he ain't got nothing else to prove. So you got, whoa. Now that Crawford then stripped him of his belts and all, right? Now, if Canelo want to do a bunch of circus fights, he wouldn't be holding up the division. But if Canelo want to fight for more belts and he want to try to do this, hey, let me get all the belts again, and he just picking and choosing who he wants to fight. No. Notice though, right? The majority of people will side with Canelo for that. They will side with, even if Manny Pacquiao decided he wanted to come back and, like, you know, fight guys but not really fight the best guys. But hey, I'm getting title shots because I'm fighting in a division where it's weak and it's just belts available. You know, it's just another accomplishment for my age. You know, people would make excuses if Pacquiao did it. Notice how nobody's making that excuse for Jon Jones. Oh man, he's ducking that dude, Mike. Oh, how you say his last name? Stay up, however you say his fucking name. Oh, he's ducking him. He right? Okay, wait. Now, why is Jon Jones not in the position to say at this point, I can do what I want? But why is it anybody else can? Huh? Your favorite anybody? But Jon Jones is as accomplished in MMA as any boxer is in boxing. But somehow Jon Jones don't get that pass, right? I don't give nobody that pass. Now, I mean, if it's about, okay, I have an exit strategy and I'm going to fight this guy, but these are all top guys. Because there's always somebody that people are going to think is better than this person or that person. But if I'm fighting the top dudes there, and just say, for example, I'm going to say, if I feel like there's nothing else for me to prove, the right thing to do is let the belts go. Because once I let that belt go, I'm no longer champion. I'm not holding the division up. I'm not blocking anybody. But if I'm going to sit here and tell you there's nothing else for me to prove, but I'm going to continue to hold on to the belt and cherry pick, nah, then you should not respect that. And Canelo's been cherry picking for the longest fucking time, and we all know this. So Zander Zayas don't follow that route and end up going out like Canelo with that bullshit. Because out of everything you said, you got respect from people that night. Now, we know that no matter what happened, the Puerto Rican people was going to cheer for you regardless. But if they cheer for you because you start talking shit and start talking about, I'm only 23, or, you know, man, or, well, you know, the week of the fight, you know, I twisted my ankle, or my eyebrow was hurting, I had a headache the night before, and yeah, I didn't drink enough water, whatever, any excuse, just let it go. The better man won. We all saw who the better fighter was. He outboxed you. He outfought you. He punished you. He dropped you 3 times. You failed to drop him. And you're the bigger, stronger guy, right? He did everything that he was supposed to do to you. He stopped you, and you was even telling the referee that you was done before the towel was thrown in. But people don't want to say that. So we applauded your effort. Leave it at that. It's simple. And I think that's a big reason why people keep bringing up how they always talk about the Andy Ruiz Joshua one, like he didn't avenge the loss. They always bring up that one, and I think it's because they want to try to get Anthony Joshua to say something other than what he said that night. Just look, I was fine. The better man won. We know what we were told by Serafina, but it is what it is. We're not stressing that. You understand what I'm saying? I think they just want him to say something. Oh, no, he making excuses like that. This is just, people are just assholes, man. So just take the loss like you did the night of the fight. Keep it pushing. Whatever happens going forward. But Boots did his thing. He defied all odds. The excuses changes nothing. And for anybody that's looking at as far as what's next, whether it's Fundora, whether it's, you know, because immediately Ortiz basically want to put his name in the hat. Oscar De La Hoya jumped on social media and saluted the fight with Boots. Like, yo, let's go Ortiz versus Boots. However this happens, whatever happens, you know, and of course, this is what the next thing is. Oh, if that would have been Ortiz who hurt him, he'd have did more than Zayas. Okay. It wasn't Ortiz in there. It was Zayas. what happens between Boots and Zayas. See, y'all like that fantasy shit. What if? What in the fuck? What if? We had Boots versus Zayas, not Boots versus Ortiz. If that's the next fight or a future fight, then when that happens, then it happens. But if he goes in there and beats Ortiz, here we go again. The same thing. Let's now find somebody else that can beat Boots, that we think can beat Boots. Just saying names is not how it happens. First of all, for people that's sitting here bringing up Fundora's name, Fundora has Spence. So now, should Boots fight the winner of Spence Fundora? Because let's also remember something. Let's say if Spence does win. Remember something. Spence was another name that they called out back in the day. But again, you know, Jaron was on the come up. Now they're both at 154. Now all the Spence haters are mostly Crawford fans. Guarantee you, if Jaron Boots Ennis, and let's say if Spence ends up beating Fundora, and let's say that's the next fight for him, being Spence, I guarantee you, all these Crawford fans is for one night going to take the side of, oh, he waited to Spence get old. They got all type of excuses to try to take credit away from Boots. And that's all that you're going to see. If he fights Ortiz next, whatever the bigger fight is, that's probably the route. Every fighter is doing this now. Whatever the bigger fights are. Let's just be real. We haven't seen Spence since the Crawford fight. If Spence comes back and he beats Fundora and he looks good, people are going to start, the boxing fans, not these fucking haters, these casual, the boxing fans are going to want to see if he looks like he can still do it. If he gets in there, because y'all making a big deal out of Fundora, right? So if he goes there and beats Fundora, and and look good, you're going to have way more people saying they want to see Spence in there against Boots. Way more people. Now the Latino fans are probably going to be saying Ortiz. Either way, what's the bigger fight? Ortiz isn't a bigger name than Errol Spence. And if he can reclaim any of his old glory, yeah, that's going to be the bigger fight, a bigger fight than an Ortiz fight. Now, if Boots goes in there and that happens and he beats Spence, it doesn't matter to me whether it's Ortiz first or Spence. It doesn't matter. Or the Fundora fight, whoever wins. However, it doesn't matter. But bottom line is, if he beats whoever wins between Spence and Fundora, and then say he beats Ortiz, then what y'all gonna start saying? Oh, he got to go up and wait because there's nobody else there. Just saying, like it's always something being said. You got Jamel Charlo there who's saying that it's hard for him to get a fight. There's, because it's funny because everybody's talking like 154 is so super stacked. But what I'm saying is once you start knocking these opponents down, and then y'all pull a name out the hat to say, what about this guy? No. If this guy is worthy, he'll show it in the ring. And that's just the way it is. Yeah, I got no bones about Zayas' performance. He did what he had to do. He did what he only what he could do. I didn't see Zayas the way Roy Jones and everybody else that was talking about Zayas if he hits Boots, and I didn't see it like that. I definitely didn't see it like that. I mean, not saying he don't have the power to hurt Boots and Boots don't have the power. They both got the power to hurt each other, and they showed it. But what I'm saying is they make it seem like Boots just can't box or something. Like they make it sound like Boots is still some ranked amateur or something. Like, bro, Boots is a seasoned guy, man. The hell are y'all talking about? He's been doing this shit for a long time. You guys just don't want to give him his credit. But I wasn't shocked about the outcome. I just didn't see Zander Zayas as being as good as Boots, man. I definitely didn't see that. Now the world saw it. And of course, there's always more obstacles that they want to throw out. Let's move the goalposts. Let's act like we didn't say this. Let's change our statements and let's make up more excuses. But it doesn't matter. Boots did what he was supposed to do, and he is the new. Here's what it is. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Catch y'all on the next video.